you how to use them in a little emergency / first aid kit that you could put in your car in a bug out bag or wherever you want to stash it. But just a little bit about me. I've been using essential oils for 10 years. And the reason I got started was because when my kids were little, I kept hearing other moms saying, oh my gosh, I use essential oils for a headache or my tummy ache or put my kids to bed. And so I decided to try it. And a little background, I used to get coughs since I was little that would be really bad coughs, like can't even catch my breath kind of a cough. It would last for about a month at a time, and it wasn't just a little it was a really ugly, embarrassing cough. And I just had it all my life. Whenever I got a little cold, it would turn into this cough. And so when I started using essential oils, I read that oregano is the strongest natural antibiotic. So I got my little kit, and the first time I got a cold, I gargled with a drop of essential oil and swallowed it about 3 times a day. And for the first time, my cold and my cough went away in about a week. And I thought it was a fluke, but over time I came to see that it was really, what I think it was is just I had a really weak immune system, and every time I got a cough, it would just blow up. So the essential oils really helped boost my immune system so that it just don't get sick like I used to. I've had little colds here and there, but nothing like having to sleep in the other room for a few days because my husband couldn't sleep. So it really helped me kick that. So that's how I got started. Why I'm so passionate about it, especially right now, is because how Michelle talked a little bit about Big Pharma, and you all know the drill of what they've been doing. And the FDA even censors all natural companies like doTERRA and supplement manufacturers. So you can't even go online and say what they're actually good for. So if I make a post online and I want to talk about how peppermint helps with my headache, I can't say that. I have to say, peppermint helps head tension, whatever head tension is. Or, peppermint, I can't say I got over the flu really quickly because I used my On Guard. I have to say, I felt really yucky, so I used On Guard and now I'm feeling better. You have to, it's really, they censor us. So that's why I like doing in-person classes. We can really teach you what the oils are for. There's also little booklets out there that you can look at, and you can look up health issues and find out what oils to use. But what we're going to do tonight is talk about what the oils do, what you're going to use for what, and go from there. So, okay, if you, I'd like you all to flip to the back side of this sheet. Sorry, I've got notes all over mine, but there's a section that says top health concerns. Donna's coming around and passing them out. And by the way, we're going to do a raffle at the end, so if you want to put your name on there, we'll give away a couple prizes. I like to make it fun. But put your top 3 health concerns, and then as we're talking, you can kind of make notes and jot down what you think might help you. So keep that in mind. Okay, so for the first part, I got to put my glasses on. I'm going to tell you 3 cool things about essential oils. So number 1, essential oils are 100% safe and natural. There's no side effects to these essential oils. In fact, I like to say there's good side effects because a lot of times they'll do something that you're not intending. For example, I use a roller bottle of essential oils on my thyroid because I have a little bit of a low thyroid. And the thyroid blend is peppermint, lemongrass, clove, and I forget, there's one other thing in it. So without even thinking, I roll on the thyroid blend and I rub it in like this. And I had a little pain in my wrist. And after about a week of doing that, I realized the pain in my wrist went away from rubbing the thyroid thing on my neck. So they're very safe and they do unexpected things. They are extracts from plants with amazing health benefits. So what they do is either steam distill or cold press them directly from the plant. And so a lot of people will ask, well, can I just use lemon juice in my water or peppermint from my garden? Yes, you can, but essential oils are 50 to 70 times more potent than herbs. So if you put a drop of peppermint in your tea, therapeutically, that's equivalent to drinking 28 cups of peppermint tea. So they really pack a punch because you're taking a bunch of plant material and distilling it down into one of these little bottles. So they're very safe, they're very effective. I will say a couple things about doTERRA specifically. If you're going to be using essential oils for your healthcare, you really want to make sure you get quality essential oils. And doTERRA is the #1 essential oil company in the world. And the reason I say that, I've been to convention for I think 7 years in a row now. We're all about the science lately, right? It's science versus, whatever they're pushing on CNN. Science, yes. doTERRA is so, like, when I leave, I just came back from convention and my head is exploding with all the science. But a lot of the things that they do is they're testing. They test it at every stage, from the growers to the distillers to the bottlers, to make sure that there's no adulteration, which is basically other oil companies will cut it with either synthetics or something like coconut oil or an inferior oil that's not really in the bottle. And they can just say that it's natural, but it really isn't. Another way doTERRA is the leader is they partnered with St. Elizabeth Healthcare in Kentucky to open the very first doTERRA Oncology Center. So they're really tied in with the medical industry. And I can also say they're the only essential oil company in the world who actually has a pharmaceutical grade essential oil, and that's their lavender. And that just happened, and they're working on getting the other ones pharmaceutical grade. And it's because their oil's quality is so consistent that doctors can prescribe it and get a consistent dose. So where you're getting your oils really matters. Okay, so peppermint is one of the oils that we have. And Donna, do you have a second to pass around some peppermint? Okay, so we're gonna wake everybody up and let you try some peppermint. Yeah, I have this one. So what Michelle's going to do is give you, if you want, take a drop of peppermint in your palm, and then you're going to rub your hands together and then cup your hands over your nose and breathe it in really deeply like that. Don't touch your eyes because it'll feel like you cut up an onion. It's not going to hurt you, but it's very intense. If you want to taste it, our oils are certified pure therapeutic grade, and so you can actually put them in a gel cap and take them like a pill. You can put them in your water, you can cook with them. If you have a headache, you can take your thumb and dip it in the oil and hold it to the roof of your mouth, and it helps take down the swelling in your head. So that's peppermint. So this is really good for waking up. So you can take an oil, a lot of people do it with frankincense when you have a migraine. You just put a drop of oil on your thumb and do like this. And just hold it on the roof of your mouth for 10 seconds. And then you can repeat every few minutes until you start feeling it make an effect. Are you guys waking up? So another cool thing about the oils is that they're all multitasking. So you can use peppermint for headaches. You can use it to clear out your nasal passages, which I'm sure you noticed when you tried the peppermint. You can use them for a headache by just rubbing it on your temples or putting a drop on your head or just like rubbing it through your hair. It energizes you and cools the body. You can make a spray out of it on a hot day, or if you have a hot flash, you could just take a bottle of water and spritz it over your neck. It can do a lot of different things. So that's one thing about over-the-counter drugs versus essential oils. Like, you would never take Pepto-Bismol for your tummy and rub it on your forehead for a headache, right? So if you have the basic ones in your medicine cabinet, you can do a lot of different things with these oils. Okay, so moving on. Did everybody get a sample? Oh, did you? I thought I had a peppermint in there, but okay. Well, they can smell it or whatever.
About peppermint too. You can eliminate mouthwash altogether and all those harsh chemicals. I keep a bottle of peppermint right in my drawer. It's part of my toothbrushing routine. I put the water on the toothbrush, right? You get a clean, wet toothbrush. Then I put on 1 drop of peppermint. Then I add my toothpaste. Bam! It's like an explosion in your mouth. And you don't need anything else. Seriously, it is taken care of for hours. So I was never a big mouthwash person, but I do that and I love it. That'll wake you up too.
Okay, so number 2 on the top, they are effective. So I know, are there a couple nurses in here? I think we have a couple nurses. Yep. So they are actually more effective than a lot of modern medicine, because what modern medicine does, actually essential oils were the original medicine, I'd like to say. They call it alternative, but they're not. Modern medicine will take a plant like peppermint, isolate one of the chemical constituents, and recreate it in the lab to make a synthetic version of it, and then they can patent it, and then they can make money. Because you can't patent nature, there's a law against that. You can't patent it, so they make a fake version that may work, like they take anti-inflammatories from lavender plants, and it will help stop inflammation, but then because it's synthetic, you're going to get a side effect. That's why we have side effects, because your body doesn't know what to do all the time with these synthetic substances. So, and another thing that medication will do is mask the symptom. It doesn't really get to the root of the problem. So that's another reason we use essential oils. So if you want to look on your handout on number 2, you'll see this little simplification of the diagram of a cell. And so when you go to the doctor and you are sick, and the doctor says, well, it's a virus, so what do they usually tell you to do? What's that? No, if it's a virus. Anyone? When you go to the doctor and you have a virus, what do they tell you? Go home, have some chicken soup, rest. And the reason is because the medications are water-based, and the cell has an oily membrane surrounding it, protecting it, and those water-based medications can't penetrate the cell to get to the virus. Viruses are on the inside of a cell, and bacteria is on the outside of the cell. So the antibiotics don't work. So when you have your essential oils, say you have oregano or On Guard, you can use that whether it's a bacterial infection or a viral infection. It really doesn't matter. You can use it and help with whatever it is you have. They work at the cellular level with no side effects, no addictions. They're just safe and natural. So I'm just going to talk about another little blend that we have called On Guard. Does anybody in here use On Guard? On Guard, yep. This Colleen, yep. Woo, got On Guard. This is one of the most used oils in our home because it's a blend of wild orange, rosemary, cinnamon. I think there's oregano and clove.
It's like fall.
Yes, it smells like fall. It smells really good. You can put it in a diffuser and spread it through the air so that if there's something going around, it'll stop it from spreading as easily. You can put a dab on your wrists or on the bottoms of your feet. However you want to use it. I put a drop under my tongue because you can use it internally, and it really helps. Oh, sure. If anybody wants to try an On Guard, they come in cough drops. Mm-hmm. Yeah, go ahead and try one. They're really good. And I would say when I start to get a little scratchy sore throat, I would say 90% of the time, if I get right on top of it and start gargling with On Guard right away, it goes away. And it never turns into anything. In fact, that just happened last week. So it's really good at building my immune system. Remember I told you I was coughing all the time? After I did the oregano and got rid of that initial cold, I started doing On Guard every single day in some form or another, whether it's under my tongue, taking a cough drop, putting it on my wrist. And it's been since 2012, and I have not had one of those month-long monster coughs. So it basically helped my immune system. So, yeah. You could, yeah, get a little shot glass with a mouthful of water and put a drop in it and gargle as long as you can to coat your throat and then swallow it. Or I get lazy and I just put a drop under my tongue and it just absorbs right away. But if you don't like the taste or you don't want to do them internally, you can roll it on or diffuse it, however you want. Okay. So number 3, they are affordable. They're actually more affordable than traditional Medicare, because when you go to the doctor, what do you have to do? A lot of times you'll have to take time off work, you'll have to pay your copay, you'll get the prescription. So let's say you have a child with an ear infection. How much does it normally cost for a prescription for the ear infection? Throw out a number. 25 bucks? 10 bucks, maybe some of you have really good insurance, plus time off work. Plus, they're probably gonna give them an antibiotic, which messes up your gut and causes other problems, right? Well, if you had some tea tree oil, have everybody heard of tea tree? It's also called melaleuca. You can just put the tea tree oil around their ear or put a drop on a cotton ball and set it in their ear and it'll draw out the infection. I've seen this happen over and over and over again. It gets rid of ear infections and you don't even have to go to the doctor. So in those middle of the night moments, if you have some of these tools in your cabinet, it's literally 8 cents a drop for the tea tree oil. So it's a really inexpensive solution compared to going with the doctor and all that time. Let's see. Lavender. Let's talk about lavender. Who likes lavender here? Ooh. What do you use lavender for? Throw out something. What's that? In the bath? Laundry? Diffuser. Bug bites? Okay, someone knows her oils here. Yep. So a lot of people think that lavender is mainly for sleep or for good smell, but it's actually like a Swiss Army knife of oils because there's so many different chemical constituents in it that you can use it for calming, but bee stings, bug bites. Actually, my husband just put lavender into action last night. He was cooking and he burned his thumb pretty bad. And so we immediately put lavender on it, and then every like 10 minutes as he thought of it, and eventually the pain just went away and it didn't blister up today. It's amazing for burns. So any like cuts and scrapes, it's a really good first aid oil. So if you have your little emergency kit or your first aid kit, lavender is a must-have in there. Very cost effective. Yes, I think that one's about 8 cents a drop too, just like tea tree. Yep. For what? Ooh, deters fleas. That's good to know. Yeah. It scares rats away? Wow. That's awesome. I know peppermint is really good for deterring spiders. So if we have any spider haters in here, peppermint is really good. Okay, so Michelle, do you want to do, Michelle's going to tell you about 3 different ways that you can use essential oils.
Okay, so you've already gotten to experiment with some of it. Do you have I'll just use the same sheet you do. Okay. All right. So the first way is aromatic, and that was simply putting it on your hand and inhaling. And that is the easiest way to do it. Or you can use a diffuser. We have an example here, and I'm going to pass another one around just so you can kind of see what it looks like. Okay, so this is the same one that she's got going here without the plug, and you can just open it up and kind of see how it works. You're just putting some water in it and a couple of drops of the essential oil you want to add. Sometimes people do blends and do multiple different drops, but you can use it aromatic. So the easiest way, put a dropper right onto your hand and inhale. That's easy. Topical is something more like when you're rubbing it right onto you. So I was introduced to essential oils when my children were young. They were like kindergarten, first grade. And a friend of mine introduced me because my kids were wound up, sometimes had difficulties calming down. Sometimes they had, my son had he had the trifecta. It's the asthma, eczema, and allergies. And a lot of the kiddos, when they have that, it's like all three. So he was sensitive to a lot of things, and he had difficulty with breathing. Every time he got sick, it would blow into an asthma attack, that kind of thing. So he used that. We used that quite often. We used a blend called Breathe, and we would rub that on his chest. When he had stomach issues or the kids complained about tummy problems, we would put on another blend called Digest Zen. And Digest Zen, you can actually apply it right topically, right onto your belly in the affected area. So certain things will indicate topical. So certain things can be used for all three. Lavender can be used for all three. Lavender can be ingested. It can be put on aromatically. You can use it aromatically in a diffuser or inhaling, or you can put it on topically. So there's some blends that we have, or some pure oils that you can use all three ways. And if you don't like the taste, you can also get capsules to ingest it, so you don't have to taste it. So there's options and get-arounds for a lot of this stuff. But so the three ways are aromatic, topical, and internal. And a lot of these are food grade, and like she said, there's some now that are becoming pharmaceutical grade. So that's pretty exciting stuff. But they are very clean, very pure, and they've been around a long time. Just think about it. The Christmas story, the original Christmas story. What did the three wise men bring to Jesus? Frankincense, myrrh, and gold, right? Frankincense has been around before Christ and has been around for that long. So they know something, and we've kind of not paid attention to the wisdom of our ancestors, okay? And frankincense does a lot of cool stuff. But one of the major things that I use it for is my headache blend. I get what they call cluster headaches, or sometimes full-blown migraines, sensitive to light, nausea, all that fun, right? And sometimes, now that I'm gluten sensitive, sometimes I'll get gluten headaches, which are even worse than a migraine, and they last a couple, 3 days. And so what I found is I was introduced to this migraine headache blend. I used to take Excedrin migraine, whatever. And what I found is when I use it, ingesting it, I don't even have to ingest it. I put it on topically for my migraines, and I put it on, I inhale it. So, for example, this may you want to write down. This is a good one. This is the migraine headache blend, and I'm not guaranteeing it's going to work for you, but I can tell you I have a lot of friends with headaches, and when I've shared this, they're like, oh my gosh. Because you can skip the big pharma, you can skip the over-the-counter, and it works a lot faster, because when you feel that bad, you just want it gone. So I get to the point where I wasn't functioning. So the blend is even drops of frankincense, lavender, and peppermint. And there is a basic bundle that you can get with the frankincense. Frankincense by itself is a little costly, but in the bundle, it's totally worth it. And it lasts you a really long time. You can get it you can make your own blends if you really get into it and things like that. But by themselves, the oils, if you're going to put it on, like if you're going to rub it on your stomach or something like that, they are kind of like gaseous. They dissipate and dissolve pretty fast. So what we suggest is to make it last longer and stretch and last longer on the skin. We actually suggest adding a carrier oil, like almond oil, or what's another one we use? Almond oil, coconut oil. Those are the two mains that we use, is almond and coconut, whatever you like. I've tried it both. But a carrier oil allows it to maintain and not dissipate and evaporate so quickly. So you're getting the added aromatic benefit that much longer. So if you were doing a massage and you wanted to, your kids were really wound up or something and you wanted to massage them, give them a little massage or rub it into their feet, it'll last longer and it will provide longer, I don't know, what would you call it? Administration. You're administering the oils. It's going to last longer by having it added to a carrier oil, if that makes sense. Yeah, it'll stay on your skin longer. So a lot of things, people rub the bottoms of their feet with these oils, and that'll last longer. You know, so there's a lot of ways you can get it onto your body. But for the migraine mix, it's equal parts of frankincense, lavender, and peppermint. And then I just add it to a carrier oil, and man. So what I do is, the first thing I do is, I get tension headaches. I don't know if y'all get sore through here or tense through the neck and the shoulder area, but that's where a lot of my tension goes. So I will topically rub it into like my neck muscles, my shoulder muscles. I'll even grind it a little bit. So I'm giving myself a little bit of, like, you know, trying to break up that tension a little bit, but I've got the oils on my hands when I'm doing it. So I'm rubbing it in, base of the neck, you know, I don't care if it gets in my hair, whatever. At that point, you just want to feel better. So I rub it into my temples, I put it behind here, you know. So that's step one, is I'm rubbing it into here for my migraine. Step two is just what I have on my hand. Now, I will take big, deep cleansing breaths. I don't know if you've ever done like breath work or anything like that, but you do like a big, deep inhale as far as you can take it in. Then you hold for 4, and then you release. And what's important about that is getting it into your lungs. It'll maintain and hold on to it faster, and it holds on to it longer. So the effects are greater because you're holding on to it longer. The other thing too is that the peppermint's so strong, it's literally lining your nasal passages by the end of it, and you can really feel it and smell it even after you're done with your inhalations. But I'll do those big, deep breaths, like I'll take 10 deep breaths, calming breaths. So the calming, of course, is also an exercise of trying to intentionally calm the body and relax too. So between the massage, the topical application, and the inhalation, within about 10 minutes, my thing is gone. 90% of the time. I mean, it's a big deal. So if you've ever dealt with massive headaches or migraines, this is a game changer. Because when you've got young kids and stuff, and you've got things to do, and life doesn't stop because you feel bad, this is a great thing. It's been a big deal. So aromatic, topical, and internal. And then they have guides. When you get your oils, they explain which ones are good for all 3, which ones are good for only 2. It should say on the bottle. Yeah. Okay. So they list the ingredients. Okay. It's listed as a supplement, so it's got a supplement label. And it just talks about what you're getting in that 1 drop. And a lot of you got 2 drops because it comes out pretty fast if you see. So a little goes a really long way, really long way.
So if it doesn't have that box, it's not internal.
Okay, so if it doesn't have the supplement box on it, it is not an internal. So that's how you would know it. So it would just be a topical or diffuse or put it on your hands and inhale, okay? Aromatic. Let's see, is there anything else I want to cover?
Can I ask a question?
Maybe when you put it in your water.
I just, the carrier oil, like you said equal parts, but how much of a carrier?
Okay, so for example, her question was how much of a carrier oil? Okay, if you want to get fancy and you have all the goodies and you have the make your own roller balls and stuff, it's a really cool thing, which I have. They're like 5 milliliter little roll-on bottles. So I don't know if you have one with you. We'll see if we can get one. Okay, so there's a roller ball. So it's a glass vial, and when you take the cap off, it's got a roller ball, right? Okay, so it's like that. But what happens is you can pop the top off, okay? So my classic blend is 5 drops of frankincense, 5 drops of lavender, 5 drops of peppermint, and then I fill the rest with the carrier oil. So I can fill the vial full with either almond oil or coconut oil, something like that. And you can buy them on Amazon. I hate using Amazon, but you can buy them on Amazon, like a big old bottle. It'll last you a long time. Now, if you're in a pinch and you don't have a roller bottle and you're not doing all the fancy, okay, just do equal parts, mix it in your palm. So I don't have a roller bottle, but I know what the blend is. Equal parts of the oil, right? So I'll do 1 drop of frankincense, 1 drop of lavender, 1 drop of peppermint, and I'll do a little squirt or a little couple drops of my carrier oil, mix it, done. And now I've got it in my hand. So even if you don't have all the fancy schmancy tools and whatever, you can still do this. Get enough oil on there so it's going to spread and do what you need it to do. But you can mix it literally in the palm of your hand. and it works fabulous. So let's see, does that answer your question?
Totally.
Awesome. So if you're using the fancy vial, 5, 5, and 5, and then fill the rest of the top with the carrier oil. If you're doing it in the palm, easy peasy, just 1 drop of each, and then, because you don't need more than a drop. So that's why they last so long. They're super concentrated. And then add the oil. Okay, back to you, Dawn.
One more thing, we do some really fun classes called make and takes. So what she was just describing about making your own concoction, there's recipes for everything, headache, stress, tummy, you know, you name it. We actually make them in the class, and I bring all the oils and everybody makes them, and it's a really fun class, and you can do them for different topics like digestion, or you got a handout, I think, on the, can I borrow this? There's a thing that talks about having a class, and then on the back there's all the different topics that we can do classes on, and we can do a make and take if you want, or do a traditional class like this. So you can do them hands-on, and there's ones on digestive, there's ones for babies, gardening, immunity, for kids. We do a really fun essential oils for pets and show you how to use them on your dogs and your cats, and I love doing pet classes. So just keep that in mind as well. So, okay, does anybody have, I'm just gonna do a quick break here and see who wants to volunteer looking up something, like looking up a health issue. You wanna look something up? So, Michelle and I know a lot of different ways on how to use the oils, but it really doesn't have to be complicated, and you don't have to know everything that Michelle and I know. All you need is a little book and your box of oils, and you're good to go. So Rietta, if you want to look up something and tell them what you can use for it and how to use it, she's got this little A to Z guide, and she's going to tell you about,
Well, when you get gray hair, your body changes, I'm just saying. Brittle nails was something that, this is extensive, I'm impressed. I started having brittle nails, so I can use Arbor Vitae.
Arbor Vitae.
Arbor Vitae, frankincense, and myrrh, and apply a couple of drops topically to the nail bed once daily. Awesome. Bunions are on here. That's great. There's so much in here.
So it looks like this, and you can get these, you know, when we sell things or we sell kits to people, we get that, so it's
Yeah.
a little get started guide. Right.
Wow.
yeah. And then there's the Big Mama here. So if you're really into it like us, you can get the Essential Oil Bible and look up anything. But there's a lot of science behind it too. It has all the chemistry in here and all the studies. So anybody else want to look up? You want to look up something?
And then I want to show them a couple of things.
Oh, okay.
Oh. What essential oil? Get your glasses on.
Varicose veins. It would be cypress, helichrysum,
Helichrysum.
and Siberian fir. Massage into the area of concern several times a day.
Seriously.
Varicose veins.
Yeah, we can pass around.
Sure. Yeah, I'll pass a couple of these around.
Yeah, we'll pass it.
Yeah.
Pass one this way
Okay.
and one that way. Okay. Yeah.
I just wanted to talk about some of the books. So you don't have to be knowledgeable about this stuff. You can start with a guide. So you get a basic kit and a guide, and you're off and running. The basic kit is fabulous because it's basically the 10 most used oils, and it's all the rock stars, what I would consider, like the ones you're going to use over and over and over again, like frankincense, peppermint, lavender, orange. You know, these are really good ones. This is the hardback Modern Essentials. There's a lot of other cool specific books though that I wanted to show you. There's this one. This is the one I got started with when I first was introduced. And the woman that wrote it is in doTERRA. She's done very well for herself. Her name is Dr. Maritza Snyder. She's a biochemist. And she's all nerded out over the science and this stuff. So she's really into the peer-reviewed studies and all the stuff. Okay, so this is the easy book. This is called Smart Mom's Guide to Essential Oils, okay? And it gives some real basic stuff. And it's about starting to make over your home, getting rid of the chemicals and the toxic stuff, and replacing it with healthy things that don't have bad side effects. And we're trying to lower our toxicity load, right? Because toxicity is what makes us ill in the long term. So this is what I started with, Smart Mom's Guide to Essential Oils. All right. Then, for women of a certain age, I refuse to read it yet. The Essential Oils Hormone Solution. Okay, so you ladies out there, hormone solution. Some people are raising their hands, I'm not saying who. So, Essential Oils Hormone Solution. Okay, now men need hormone adjustment too. I know I work at a holistic medical clinic. We see men and women who are both in there for hormone replacement therapy, extra help with balancing of hormones. It's a thing. It doesn't matter if you're male or female. Okay, the softback book of what she had, there is a softback, so it's going to be a little less expensive and it's a little less bulky, and it's the same thing, Modern Essentials. Okay, and then there's another one. This one is an interesting one, Mama Z's Home Makeover. Not really made by doTERRA, okay? You can come up and look at these later, but I wanted to just bring to your attention a couple of the chapters in here. 10 of the best antibacterial essential oils. Peppermint is number 1, and tea tree, also known as melaleuca, is number 2. And then the other one, essential oils for infections. And then the last one, 10 best oils for antibiotics, antifungals, yeah. So there's a lot of good information out there, but again, like she said, all roads lead to big pharma and the pharmacy boards and all that stuff, they're all in on it. So anything that's naturally compounded, Gavin Newsom has done his level best to eradicate or eliminate naturally compounded anythings, and they're squeezing doctors harder and harder to not prescribe anything but their synthetic big pharma junk. Okay, so it's an interesting ride because I've worked at a holistic medical clinic for years, so I watched all this stuff develop, and as they keep doing more and more things, they've literally put naturally compounding companies out of business. Gavin Newsom did that in certain companies completely because they're trying to attack anything natural. There was a guy that, I read an article, he's Amish, and he had developed this home remedy, and he called it No Tumor. They took it. They took all of it, and they told him he was not allowed to sell it anymore because it was working. And this is what they're about. So, all right, back to you, Dawn, thanks.
Okay, so what we're going to do now is Donna is going around with another sheet, and it's gonna have the top 10 emergency oils on it on the front, and then on the back it's going to have some, like a little cheat sheet. So actually, if I can get one of those, Donna, can I have that? And she'll bring you another one. And then on the back, it's got a little list of mini travel emergency kit of some remedies that I put together so that you can know what you would use in an emergency or a first aid situation. So there are different things that you can use. So let's say you have the top 10 oils and you have all these big bottles, but you want to have an emergency kit to put in your bug out bag or to have something in your car. There are a bunch of different ways that you can carry them around with you. You could take the whole bottles with you in one of these little cases, but chances are you're going to want to keep the bottle in your house next to your sink or your bathroom or whatever. So that's not ideal, but you can get these little travel kits. They're a really cute little zipper case, and then they come with these little dram vials. Dram size, it's like this is like a half a dram vial. So you just take your oil and fill these up and put on this little cap, and then you just tap it to get out a drop. And then when you're out and about, if something happens, you fall off your bike or, you get a bump and scrape, you'll have your oils with you. And you can put a single oil in here, or you can make up a little headache concoction and put it in there, or whatever you need. DRAM, yes, DRAM. Yeah, so doTERRA has these little cap stickers, and whenever I place an order, you get a sheet of them. They're like 50 cents, and then you can label everything, or you can use a blank one. If you make a blend for yourself, you can call it, tummy ache or whatever.
Brittle now.
So
those are refillable, but the other ones come with.
yeah, when you get oils from doTERRA, anyway, they come like this in either a big bottle, which is 15 milliliters, or there's a small bottle kit. So you can get all 10 oils in the big size or the little size. Those are your main ones that you get from doTERRA. But if you want to make an emergency kit, you can get one of these little things at, there's stores that sell things for essential oils. You can get them on Amazon, but we try to support, there's one called Aroma Tools where you can get these. And then there's these little keychains. So it's kind of the same thing as that. It's a little zipper pouch that has a carabiner, and you can attach it to your purse or your backpack or whatever. And you can put the little vials in there. But I made this little emergency kit. I got these things at the dollar store. And that little form that you have on the back of your sheet, I laminated it so that it fits right in there. And then I have the little vials. So you can put whatever oils that you use the most for whatever things that come up most often for you in it. And then you can put some other things in, like there's a little natural ointment for first aid called Correctex. It's like Neosporin, but it's got helichrysum and frankincense and sandalwood and all those really expensive skin oils in here. This works really well. And you could put a little deep blue rub packet. This is like a pain ointment that you can put on, so you could put in if you have a lot of back pain. We also have hand sanitizer wipes. So, I meant to give a little sample to people who were looking up things. So thank you, Rieta.
Thank you.
There's a hand sanitizer wipe. These are with On Guard. Did someone else? Oh, could you? So there's a lot of sample size things that you could put in there, so you could have whatever it is that you need. I just wanted to go over the top 10 and see if anybody had any questions on these, but lavender we talked about, Swiss Army knife. Oh, hi Paul. My husband just left. Frankincense. Deep blue is one we didn't talk about, but that's for aches and pains, and if you have cramps, that one's a really good one for cramps. You could just rub over the area of pain. Let's see. Breathe, we talked about for respiratory. Should we do another sample? What do you think we should sample? Breathe or lavender or lemon or something? I didn't bring that one. Yeah. How about lemon? I usually don't sample lemon, but I'm kind of feeling lemony. So Michelle is going to walk around with lemon. You can just put a drop in your palm and just breathe it in.
Peppermint, so should we put it in a different spot?
You could. Yeah. Donna, will you do another one too? So it goes a little faster. These have those little caps on them. Okay, so we're going to sample lemon just because it's so clean and crisp. And lemon essential oil is, so do a lot of you put lemon in your water?
Yes.
So when you squeeze lemon in your water, it's very acidic. So when you drink it a lot, it can start to irritate your stomach. If you put lemon in your water, it's not acidic because they cold press it from the rind. So there's no acid. So you could put it in, you could put 6 drops in there. It's really strong. But it gives you like a gentle detox when you're drinking your water. So lemon is a really good one for drinking internally. It kind of wakes you up in the morning. Lemon is awesome for kidney stones. I had my friend's husband who had a kidney stone writhing around in pain. and he put lemon on his kidneys, and it totally helped with the pain. So I don't know if any of you have ever had one. I've heard it's worse than childbirth, but lemon is really good for kidney stones. One thing to note when you're putting oils in your water, you don't want to put it in plastic because they break down synthetic things. It's like a detox. So you don't want to be drinking plastic or styrofoam. Styrofoam, it'll take the bottom right out of the cup. So make sure you're drinking it out of paper or stainless steel or glass. Yes, or ceramic. Okay, so just don't put it in your water bottle like that. I don't know, I haven't heard dark glass. Yeah, dark glass?
Dark glass.
Okay.
Yeah. They make the cobalt glass or the,
Well, when you're storing your oils also, the less the light gets in, the faster that it can damage the oils. So when you're storing them, you keep it in that. But the oils will actually last for years. I didn't say this before, but when they found the frankincense in King Tut's tomb, it was still good.
Wow.
So citrus oils, though, can go rancid once you open them. So you don't want to sit them in your windowsill and be exposed to heat like that. But you can literally have a lot of these oils for years. Okay, did you guys like that lemon?
Yes.
It's really good. And you can cook with it, too. You can make lemon bars. I use peppermint when I cook. It's really fun. It says Melaleuca on here, but that's actually tea tree. It's the scientific name. I think we pretty much talked about all of these oils. So just if you want to glance at the back, you can see I tried to think of the most common things that you might want in a first aid kit. There's a rash, stress, headaches, infection, PMS, pneumonia, toothache. You really need to have something on hand if you have a toothache. Clove or On Guard are excellent for that. Clove is very high in antioxidants. In fact, has anybody heard of the ORAC scale? It measures how much antioxidants are in a substance. So blueberries, I think, are 200 on the ORAC scale. Carrots are a little higher. I forget what they are. Clove is over 1 million on the ORAC scale. Clove essential oil. Clove is in On Guard, so it's very, very high in antioxidants. So,
Question,
yeah.
if you use clove for toothache, how do you do it?
She wanted to know if you use clove for a toothache, how would you do it? So you can just literally put a drop of clove on your finger and rub it on your gums, like that. Or you could put a drop in water and just swish it around in your mouth, and just do it repeatedly. Now, clove is a little spicy and hot, so you might want to do a little coconut oil and the clove and rub it on so you don't get any sensitivity. Yeah, so there's a category of our oils called hot. They're spicy, like cinnamon, oregano, clove. If you have really sensitive skin, maybe even peppermint would feel hot to you. So if you have an oil like that, you always want to use some kind of a carrier oil like the coconut oil. So that'll decrease the sensitivity. You could also put it on the bottoms of your feet. That's much less sensitive, and you have very big pore openings on the bottom of your feet, so it's absorbed into your whole body really quickly. So, Rihanna had a question? Yeah.
Cloves are great for canker sores. Takes pain away immediately.
Rihanna just said cloves for canker sores are really good for pain. So, Steve was next.
Do you guys do anything with ginger?
Yes, we have actually in our DigestZen blend, it has ginger, caraway, cardamom, all those digestive oils. We also have straight ginger, but we have a blend with ginger in it called DigestZen that is really good for anything digestive. Oh, and we have ginger drops, like the On Guard drops. And then you had your hand up and then... It really varies. You don't have to be exact. Some people get afraid to use them and they're like, I don't know the recipe or the ratio. Literally, if you're spreading an oil on, you could just take the Costco or the, whatever, maybe not Costco, I don't know, wherever you get your coconut oil, that's in the jar, and just spread it on and then put the drop of whatever on. If you're making the roller bottle blend, there's little recipes you can do, but it's, kind of a rule of thumb kind of thing. Like she said, 5 drops of each and fill the rest up with the yeah. So, okay.
Okay, on the ginger, a quick story. I work at that holistic medical clinic, and I have a friend that works there, and she was feeling ill, so she got an IV. Well, the IV has a lot of vitamin B in it, and it made her starting to feel nauseous. So if you've ever had vitamin B or feeling nauseous, so we have a whole cabinet of essential oils. I grabbed the ginger, made her do this, and her nausea was gone. So just by smelling it. So these are things that if you know it's in your toolkit, I mean, you learn over time and practice when you go, okay, look in the book, you know. But I knew ginger was great for nausea, and bang, in the medical clinic, we got that. So that was a cool thing. Not every medical clinic has essential oils.
Hey, Paul, can I pick on you for a minute? I'm going to tell you how Paul got started with essential oils. So, I came home with my big kit, all excited and using them on everything and everyone, and he was like, is this like creative memories? I remember you asking.
I did that too.
I'm like, no, it's not like creative memories. And he didn't really warm up to them like I would have wanted him to. I don't know why, but anyway, he used to get heartburn a lot, and I kept saying, try digestion, try digestion, try digestion. And he didn't really, I mean, you know, he did his Tums and everything, but Tums are not good for you. They're really bad for you. They say, oh, with calcium, but they're not good for you. They're synthetic, they're toxic, they're bad. So anyway, he woke up one night with heartburn, and I said, just try the digestion. Just put a drop right here. And he put a drop right there, right where he had the heartburn, and it went away. And he said, wow, that worked. And I said, I know. Anyway, you have to have your own experience, because it sounds kind of weird, like rubbing oil on your skin. What does that do? But they really do work. Now, not everything is going to work for everyone at every time, because we're all different. Medications are kind of different. Our chemistry is different. What the root cause is different. Sometimes you might have a tension headache. Sometimes you might have a PMS headache, or sometimes it might have hit your head, right? So if you have a hormonal headache, a different oil is probably going to work than something if you banged your head. So sometimes it's knowing what the root cause is. So it's a little trial and error, and that kind of thing. But anyway, Annie. Annie wants to know what's the best one for anti-itch. There's quite a few of them, but I know Melaleuca or tea tree is good for anti-itch. Peppermint, Paul, anti-itch. Lavender. Okay, yes, for mosquito bite. See, now he's all in now. That was years ago. He's come so far. It is a lot of guys. It's I don't know why, but the women always get on board. Not always, but a lot of times get on board first, because I don't know. Maybe we just talk about it. And, anyway, okay. Yes.
Oh.
Yes, he went to France and rode, not in the Tour de France, but part of the route, and he took his oils with him. So he's a total believer now. So he uses them for a lot of things. So, okay, do we have time for a little bit of Q&A?
Yeah, we can do a little Q&A, and then I wanted to show them some of the little goodies back there. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Oh yeah, okay, if you have not turned in your raffle ticket, pass them towards the front and Donna will collect them. We'll do a little raffle. And then you want to go over your stuff and then do the, yeah, okay, Michelle's going to go over a few more things, then we'll do a quick Q&A and the raffle, and then we'll just close it out.
Okay. We'll have announcements if we have time. Okay, we should have time. We're doing pretty good. All right, so some other things. My husband's not a believer in much of the holistic stuff either, and occasionally I can get him to do things like the deep rub, which is kind of like any other, remember the old Ben Gay? Yeah, like that. But, it's very potent, it's very powerful in its smell with the deep blue and the peppermint and all that. but it works really, really well. And when people find out that I sell doTERRA, they're like, oh, I need some of the deep blue rub, because they know about it. So it's kind of a good thing if you want to try it. It looks like this, and she's got a bottle, and I did bring a bottle too, but you know, it's kind of weird to say, well, do you have an ache or pain? Come get rubbed on. Like, that's weird. So we're not doing that. So if you want to come see it after, come see. If you want to come check it out. It's show and tell, but not that much show. Okay. Full transparency, you know, I just let it fly. Whatever's personal with me is just open book, because that's how I roll, and you know, it's just unique to me. Yes, Paul? Deep blue is what he uses after 105 miles. Yeah. Yeah. So, Jesse.
You know what works for me? I rarely get sick, but when I start to feel that I'm getting sick, I will put oregano oil in a Gatorade bottle.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'll put silver hydrosol.
Okay.
I'll sip it all day.
So just to fully round it out, I don't want this to be just a doTERRA sales presentation. I believe in all the methods of holistic and natural. Anything I can do to get out of Big Pharma's hands and the whole massive thing, I'm all about it. So we're gonna do Q&A in a little bit. Did you have a Q&A about my thing specifically? Okay. Go ahead, Steve.